Hi, this is Dean.
This is Carrie.
Hello to our Weird World fam. You just listened to, or maybe I don't know how long ago it was. It's you have your own life. To part 1 of Lizzie Borden. So now you are going to listen to part 2 of Lizzie Borden, in which we move from the murder into the trial, and then to the somewhat notorious outcome of that trial, and then into the aftermath for Lizzie and Emma after they got their dad's money. Carrie, anything?
Yeah, since it's just you and me, we'll have to make fun of you for calling our listeners fam.
I feel like they're
when
fam.
the kids
Carrie.
are around.
I feel like they're fam. It's the word world. God, if I could pronounce this damn title right, that'd help. Anyway, please enjoy part 2 of the Lizzie Borden case. So the trial was the first, well, maybe it wasn't the first, but it was the great American trial of the century. And it was a huge affair. It got national attention. Like the Boston Globe wrote a 3-part in-depth piece on it. It was a big deal. It was a big media circus.
Was it the OJ of its time?
It was the OJ for sure.
Nice.
The authorities were initially, even after they arrested her on August 11th, they were still really worried about indicting her and prosecuting her. She was this Protestant nun. She was a pillar. She was this good girl. She was a virgin. She was it went against the whole elite society at that time in Massachusetts. Again, she was sort of an upper class person as well. The grand jury then, in November of 1892, did not indict Lizzie when they met and discussed it. They refused to at the time. But then a breakthrough. Alice Russell, the friend as you would call, who saw the dress incident, she told no one about this initially. She started feeling bad about it and so she talked to some family members, and I think she talked to the family lawyer, and the lawyer said, you have to go tell the authorities. So she did. And she did that on December 1st. So she'd waited months before she told anyone, but she told the authorities on December 1st, and it was only then, within a few days after that, the grand jury remet and indicted Lizzie Borden for murder.
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was considered very strong, and it should be considered incredibly strong evidence. But it had been a long enough time that the dress was gone, it was burned, and no one could say with any kind of certainty that it was indeed the dress she had been wearing on August 4th when the murders occurred. It was too late by then.
Right.
So the state attorney general...
Wait,
yes,
you said they came back and confiscated the clothing of the family.
They apparently did not confiscate that dress that she burned and was ripping up on the 7th, because that was the next day. That was the day after she was told on the 6th that she was a suspect.
Okay, but wouldn't they verify, okay, Lizzie, where are the clothes you were wearing?
These
Bridget,
are the same people.
Are these the clothes she was wearing?
These are the same people who didn't search anything for 2 days.
Okay.
So maybe not.
Okay.
And presumably, we have to guess here, she would have hidden the bloodstained dress that she was wearing.
Right.
But again, obviously, we might not talk about this, but in terms of the timeline, what would have had to have happened is she would have, even if it was a few minutes before 11 o'clock when Bridget went upstairs, she had to be, she already killed her mother. She has to be ready and raring to go. She's got the hatchet somewhere close by. As soon as Bridget goes upstairs, she's on it. She goes in there, whack, whack, whack. She probably did go to the barn. We'll find out later. There was eyewitnesses who said they did see her going into the barn at about that time period.
Right.
Because that's where she had her spare clothes and dumped the hatchet temporarily, and also dumped the dress that would be undoubtedly stained with blood.
Right.
And got into a different dress, which was not stained with blood. And so it was that blood-stained dress. And there's probably 2 of them, because there's probably was also a dress that she used to kill her mother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And she took those and she destroyed those by fire. Again, this is what Alice Russell witnessed. So yes, you're right. The police, if they had, presumably that dress was somewhere hidden in the barn at that time. Then, August 4th and August 5th, when the police are doing no searching whatsoever, and by August 6th, either they didn't find it, or they were already destroyed. But again, if Alice Russell's testimony, at least one dress was destroyed after they had searched the house on the 6th. It's destroyed the next morning. But I'm going to presume whatever she destroyed on the 7th, because she probably thought there's no way they're going to think I did it. Like you said, she probably thought, no way. It wasn't until after they said, we suspect you, that the next morning she burned the dress.
Okay.
So the state attorney general, oddly, was normally would lead a case and prosecute in the in trial a case like this,
Wow.
a very
High profile.
famous high profile case.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I found odd. He hemmed and hawed for literally months. I don't know if he thought the political repercussions, like you're taking on kind of an upper crust person. You might lose the support of those people that you need. I don't know. I'm speculating. I don't know if that's it for sure. But he just did not want anything to do with it. He finally used a doctor's excuse. He said, "You're too sick to try this case." So the spring of 1893, he finally just dropped out of the case entirely. He got a new lawyer to help. It was there was the local DA was always going to be the local DA should have prosecuted it with the state attorney general.
Right.
The state attorney general drops out, and so he finds a neighboring county district attorney to prosecute it with the local district attorney. To the local district attorney's great credit, and I didn't write his name down. Darn it! He pursued it. He was clearly someone motivated by justice, because he pursued it at a time when he could have easily dropped it.
Right.
Lizzie had a lot of supporters at this point. Mm-hmm. No, most people didn't think she did it.
Really?
Yet.
Just because she's a girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
She's a lady.
they got a new lawyer, and finally the trial started on June 5th, 1893. That is, what is that? That's almost 10 months right about 10 months after the murders. So
Yeah.
a very long time for the day. These days, you're just getting warmed up. You're just having discovery or something.
Right.
We'll get to it in 5 years. But
Yeah.
back then, 10 months was a long time from event to trial. The trial was held in New Bedford, as a matter of fact, because it was just too notorious for
Yeah.
Fall River, and New Bedford's a larger city than Fall River. One of the prosecutors was William Moody. He would be a future Supreme Court judge.
Oh.
A little bit of brush with celebrity of someone we've never heard of. Lizzie was defended by 3 lawyers. She had received her inheritance by this time. We'll talk about that in a minute. So she was able to buy some very high-priced, really good lawyers, one of whom was named George Robinson, and he was a former governor of Massachusetts.
Oh,
Wow.
So there were some pretty big people. Again, this was a
Yeah.
huge. It was in little Fall River, but it was a big
Yeah.
deal. All of them Bostonians came out for this.
Yeah.
There's a weird coincidence happened about this time. It was in June, I think June 1st, so just a few days before the trial is going to start. Bertha Manchester, also of Fall River, Massachusetts, was hacked to death in her home by an axe
Oh.
What?
just before the trial is going to start. The similarities got the tongues wagging
I'll bet.
I'm
all over the
sure.
area, and they thought, is this related? Is this the same person who did those Borden murders 10 months ago? Mm-hmm. The answer ultimately was no. It was a
Obviously.
Portuguese immigrant named Jose Correa de Mello, and he was later caught. He was found guilty the next year, and during the investigation, they shown conclusively he was nowhere near Fall River at the time of the Borden killings. So, but at the time, in June 5th, 1893, when the trial started, that was not known yet. So there was some speculation that, hey, maybe it's this whoever the crazy psycho who killed Bertha could have killed the Bordens
Yeah.
10 months ago as well. So the maniacal stranger, which, if you think about it, is really the only other possibility besides Lizzie. We'll talk about suspects in a bit. And also, in the trial, the inquest testimony that had gone very badly for her was ruled inadmissible. It was tossed out by the judge. The defense faulted the prosecution mainly for not showing without a doubt what the murder weapon is. Like, you don't have a murder weapon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can't tell us. We don't know that it's the hatchet head. You can't prove that. There's no
Right.
conclusive evidence it was that hatchet head. So you don't have a murder weapon. You don't have any bloodstained clothes. You don't have any good forensic evidence really to speak of. It's kind of circumstantial. Mm-hmm. The prosecution said, well, the handle was broken off because it would have had blood on it, and it's easier to clean blood off of the blade, a metal blade, than it is off a more porous wooden handle. So that's why they think the murderer, Lizzie, broke off the handle for that reason. It was stained in blood, and she probably burned it. Mm. Okay? So what, you looking...
Well, I mean, sure.
This is way before forensic, where they can find every speck of blood
Right,
everywhere.
yeah.
They could,
Right.
So if you washed an axe blade pretty well, they're not going to
Find the
find blood. And even if they did, so what?
Right.
There's, it would have been his and her blood anyway, Abby and Andrew's blood anyway. So still, the prosecution had Alice, and they had Alice's testimony that she had seen her best friend, by the way, Lizzie, destroying a dress
Yeah.
that had quote unquote paint on it. The defense did not even broach this topic. They just basically ignored it.
Really?
They didn't come around. They
Jesus.
didn't. Lizzie did not testify on her own
course,
behalf,
yeah.
and they didn't try to answer this at all. They just
Wow.
pretended it didn't happen. In modern times, the defense lawyers would have had 10 lies to excuse the
That,
dress burning, tearing thing. But back then, it's like, you know what?
She only needed one that it got paint on it. Consistent with her original story.
I know, but okay. I mean, how about a more plausible story? They would have had 15 better lies of what happened than I got paint on it, which is pretty lame. You don't understand how horrible lawyers are, do you? I don't think you quite get it. They're pretty terrible people, defense lawyers especially. So the prosecution.
Okay.
What?
I disagree.
All
Casey
lawyers
Anthony.
are bad people.
Closed. Case closed. We're done here. Every defense lawyer, they're awful human beings.
Okay,
They're
move on.
monsters. Their job is to lie about what happened so their client gets off. I'm not saying prosecutors are pretty scummy too. Making of a murderer shows that, but defense lawyers are venal. They're just awful.
I apologize to any lawyers. who might be
I
listening to
absolutely
this.
don't. If you're a defense lawyer and your job is to get criminals off, and you're an awful person. If you're a prosecutor who gets innocent people off, you also are an awful person.
Whose job is it to get innocent people off?
No one's job. That's the problem.
Whoa.
Dramatic pause, because that's the truth. The prosecution went over the timeline, by the way, and this is where Lizzie's claim kind of was challenged. She left 10:58. She's gone for 20 or 30 minutes, but it was sort of left inconclusively. And then they get to Bridget hearing Lizzie call, and Bridget saying that was at 11:10 a.m. Lizzie calling out, "Come quick, my dad's been murdered." So there's the timeline. It looks bad. Again, they brought up her contradictions and her wonky timeline, but at the end of the day, they couldn't bring up the evidence from her even more contradictory testimony during the inquest, and they couldn't show a murder weapon or bloody clothes. So the defense did, however, find two sort of walk-by witnesses, I guess, two men who claimed they saw Lizzie coming out of the barn at 11:03 a.m. Very precise, these men, with,
What
I
the
guess,
hell?
watches, and they
Yes.
you see a woman coming out of a barn, you check what
You
time
check
it
the
is.
time.
I don't know.
That's a saying.
That's what they testified, though. That they saw. Apparently, the way I read it is independently of one another, too, not like two guys walking together.
That's weird.
That is very weird.
That's very
So they saw
weird.
her coming out. This was an attempt by the defense to show that Lizzie was not in the house when Andrew was murdered. Remember, Andrew had been murdered something like just before 11 to 11:10, somewhere in
Right.
that fairly tight range. So they're saying, oh, well, look, at 11:03, she was coming out of the barn. Of course, obviously, she could have been coming out of the barn before or after killing her father.
Right.
So that's not. But
She- had to go out there to get the axe.
yeah,
that-
or go hide the axe
Right.
after she. I think I can kind of signal my thoughts on this thing, but
Yes.
I think she killed him almost instantaneously. When Bridget had just closed her door when she took that axe to his
Yeah.
head, I think. But still, that kind of gave the defense sort of a thing like, look, she's over in the barn, like she said she was. She wasn't inside the house killing her dad. That was the attempt anyway. Regardless, the police had found no evidence. This is important. Remember, she said she went up into the loft to eat her pears?
Yes.
Her secret bag
Her
of
secret
pears?
pears.
The police said they checked the ladder, the stairs, I guess, or ladder, I don't know what it was, going up to the loft. It looked to them like it was completely undisturbed, dusty ladder. No one had gone up there very, very
Eat
recently.
any pears.
Pears or anything else.
Nothing.
No one had gone up there. So,
Nice try.
yeah, but still, the skulls of Andrew and Abby were brought in to the trial,
Jesus.
presumably defleshed. I don't think it was like
Hopefully.
hanging, the half an eye
Well,
there or something like that.
Obviously.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
So Lizzie obligingly fainted upon seeing the skulls. Lizzie also wore flowery dresses instead of severe black dresses
Right.
and like capes too and things like that.
She wore
And
capes?
It said like a cloak or a cape or something
Oh.
like that. When she'd have a fan in one hand and she held a bouquet of flowers in the other. So
Trying
she was
to look
putting
dainty.
on
That's
exactly.
weird. Yeah, I was
no,
gonna say
that's
more
exactly
feminine.
it.
Yeah.
she was because she was a stout,
Yeah.
muscular, strong woman. She's looking for all the world like this poor innocent. She faints at skulls, and she has flowers and fans and shit
Yeah.
like that. She was trying in flowery dresses. She was trying to look very dainty and very genteel, not the kind of woman who could take a hatchet and bash the shit out of someone's head.
Yeah.
Which she was. She was physically a strong woman. The prosecutors tried to bring forth that testimony of a neighborhood druggist. This is also a key bit. A druggist, I guess you'd probably call them an apothecary back then, one of my favorite old-timey words.
Yeah.
He was willing to swear that Lizzie had tried to buy prussic acid the night before the murders.
What's that?
It's a deadly poison. She had claimed to him that she needed the prussic acid to clean a sealskin cloak. The judge, however, ruled against the admissibility of this evidence because he said that the event was too long before the murders to be connected.
The night.
It was the night before.
Wow.
What the hell?
It's ridiculous. So you have the ruling against the evidence from the inquest. You have the ruling against the evidence from this druggist. You have the lack of a weapon. And you have the lack of a bloody clothes. And then on top of that, the judge, it was actually presided by a 3-person tribunal of judges. The lead judge, however, gave the summation. And back at the time, judges would sum up the case for the jury before the jury would be sequestered.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, he gave a incredibly one-sided pro-Lizzie summation of the case before the jury went in. Another thing that was weird was that this was, I guess, no one from Fall River could be on the jury. So, and Fall River was a decent-sized town in this little county. I can't remember the name of the county. So what that meant is that most of the jurors were like rural farmers and people like that. 11 of the 12 were also Protestants, even though at this time the Irish were demographically kind of taking over the area. The Irish were flooding in.
Why couldn't any of them been from New Bedford?
State law. Like this, where the crime took place, I guess.
No, New Bedford, where the trial
I think New
was.
Bedford might have been a different county. These are little. Remember those states back there? They have little tiny baby counties.
Oh, so the
Tiny
jurors
baby.
had to be from the same county,
County,
where
yes.
she.
That's how I read it.
Okay, gotcha.
And so most of them were sort of just rural tradesmen and farmers, and the type of people who were like, oh, a woman couldn't do something like that.
Sure.
And again, 11 of them were white Protestant. Well, I guess they're all men, of course. And even though it was at a time where there was a lot more Irish Catholics coming in. So it was kind of like a jury that was sort of rigged in her favor already before you had the judge,
Right.
give them a biased summation and refuse to allow a lot of evidence that should have been allowed. It turns out we knew that the presiding judge was a man named Justin Dewey. He had been appointed to his judgeship by none other than ex-governor George Robinson, Lizzie's lead
lawyer.
defense lawyer.
Wow.
So a little bit of
Lizzie's lucky.
yes, she is. Well, that may have been why that's probably his main claim.
Right.
I appoint a lot of these judges. Hire me as your defense
Right.
lawyer. So in 1893, I think I want to say it's June 30th. There was a fairly long trial. It was 25 days. I could have that date wrong. I wrote the wrong date here. The jury went in to deliberate, and 90 minutes later, they came out with the verdict of, as we all know,
Not guilty.
It would later come out that they actually had decided that in less than half an hour, but they like, okay, let's go. Wait a second, this is going to
We
look
gotta make it
bad.
look good.
So honestly, they waited around as long as they could. They waited around another hour to make it look like they had molded
Right.
over a little longer for an hour and a half.
They played charades.
They basically did, yeah.
Yeah.
They played
They hung out.
gin rummy or pinnacle, which
They
is
had,
spelled pinocle.
They had like a potluck. Everyone brought like
They
a
may have.
different dish.
They may have.
Yeah.
So, the evidence, for and against. Evidence for Lizzie. I'm going to summate it here. That's not a word.
Summated.
Summate it. Let's make up that word. I say.
Summarize.
I'm going to summarize the for and against. So, if Lizzie was guilty, what did the jury miss? And I think most people think she was guilty. So, here's first the evidence for Lizzie, and then I'm just going to sort of bullet point these items, right?
Okay.
She had little time to kill her father. Something
Yeah.
like 10, 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So she would have had to have, like we talked about, she would have had to have very quickly bash, clean, change, come back in, cry for help. There was no obvious blood on her dress or her person. Again, they didn't take her dress at the time, but if she had a huge blood stain, they would have noticed. So she would have had to change, but she did a good job of it, cleaned up.
Yeah.
Well, she would have had to, I mean, there probably would have been blood at her face to her hands. So she had little time, but she was able to clean up well, apparently. Was it really Lizzie who tried to buy the prussic acid? Later, she would say, that wasn't me. That never happened. It must have been mistaken identity. So, because the prussic acid is important in case, I guess we've just sort of implied it, but clearly the implication is that she had tried to poison 4 or 5 days ago. It didn't work, probably using whatever poison she had at hand in the house. There's always, arsenic or whatever for flies or what have you. So now she's fresh out of poison. Did she try to go get some new poison and refused, so had to go to plan B, hatchet.
With a hatchet.
Yeah.
But she claims it was mistaken identity and she had never tried to buy the poison.
Did the druggist wear thick glasses?
I don't know, Carrie.
Druggist.
But I like your conspiratorial tone.
Well, that's a he said, she said.
A little bit, yes. Yes, it is. But, in that case, I don't know. The he said seems a lot more logical than the she said. 2 men, and that's always true, I think. Am I right, ladies? Am I right? High five? No. Okay.
No.
The 2 men that saw her.
I have another thing about that.
Okay. What?
When did he come forward with this story? At the time or a year later?
No, certainly not a year later, since the trial was less than a year later, but no.
Mom's on Lizzie's side, it sounds like.
It does sound like that. I don't know when exactly. I don't know what day.
I'll tell you my thing at the end.
All right. Your thing. Carrie's
Is that she
thing.
doesn't trust men.
Don't trust men. Even if she did it, they probably deserved it.
Exactly. The dad definitely deserved it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he didn't buy her nice things.
Exactly.
Shit. How about those 2 men who saw her around the area of the barn? That, at least for some period, that places her outside of the house.
Yeah.
During the period Andrew would have been killed.
I don't trust them a whole bunch.
She was seen by Bridget and Abby after the killing, and again, no obvious. Bridget and I'm not Bridget and Abby. Bridget and the neighbor. So right away, she didn't have any. By immediate witnesses, she had no blood or evidence on her.
I'm being harassed by a cat.
Yeah, well,
Make him go away.
yeah, make him go away. It's a bad cat.
He's the bestest cat.
There was no obvious murder weapon ever found conclusively, and the morphine may have messed her up, and that's what caused the weird actions and contradictory evidence at the inquest. Those are the items in favor of Lizzie being innocent. How about the evidence against Lizzie? She hated her stepmother.
She did.
Without any question whatsoever. She wanted her father's money. She wanted to live well and escape this stifling home life. The family got sick. Whether or not she tried to poison the family, we know for a fact the family did get sick just a few days before.
Right.
And that's suspicious. That would be, quote unquote, the normal way a woman would murder someone. It's typically women murdered by poison.
Was she also sick?
Everything I read didn't say that one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Presumably, if she's a smart woman, she would have, I feel terrible too, blah, blah, and, pretended to be sick. Pretty good sound effects, by the way, just there. So,
Perfect.
thank you. And, of course, another one, she had tried to buy prussic acid, which leads one to believe that she was going to retry the poison method again.
Right.
So, and yes, there's a potential. I mean, really, you're going to, she's a very distinct person. See that woman? Is that the woman who tried to buy prussic acid from you?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It's fairly.
Did he say why he didn't sell it to her?
It did. I never read anything that said why, but poisons were controlled at the time. That was the main way society stopped people from poisoning each other. Was to control poison.
Right.
And like in England, you would have to sign a book, and there would have to be a witness that saw you sign the book, and pharmacists and druggists could refuse to buy you poison for it. So presumably, he didn't feel comfortable selling it to her.
Yeah.
Because he did not. So Lizzie lied about Abby being gone that morning and having gone for a visit to a sick friend and having a messenger.
Yeah.
Lizzie lied about removing her father's boots and putting on his slippers. Lizzie clearly was trying to get Bridget out of the house with that whole, hey, department store sale, you should go. It was
Yeah.
a weird thing. It was
Right.
not a normal thing Lizzie would have done. She could give a shit about Bridget. They weren't buds. Lizzie's timeline is a mess, and it's impossible. She could not have been in the barn for anywhere near 20 or 30 minutes. At most, just a few minutes, if that. And then why lie about being in the barn for such a long time in the first place? What did that gain her? At least, like you said, she could have overstated how long she's
Yeah.
in there, but that's a huge overstatement. Are you?
Well, she wasn't in the house killing her dad if she was in the barn.
No, but would you think a 5 or 10 minute stay somewhere? Would you report that as a 20 or 30 minute stay at that place? That's a huge difference. It's one thing to say I was there maybe an hour, and it turns out you're there an hour and a half. But to say you were there 20 or 30 minutes, and you could have at most been there a few minutes, maybe 5 or 10, is a weird. It indicates that you're probably lying about how long you were there.
Or you're just stupid and you don't know.
No
can't
time.
really.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She went into the barn around the same time her father was murdered, and the witnesses actually, in my mind, were kind of against her, because if they're seeing her enter or exit the barn, to me, what I read, that witnesses said that they saw her exiting the barn. That'd be going, and that's at 11:03, going back to the house. That could be with the axe in her hand that they didn't see,
Right.
or it could be. I mean, how long does it take to chop someone 10, 11 times? That's done in seconds.
Yeah.
So she went back there. If their timing is correct, she went back there, and that only gives her a few minutes, admittedly, to hide the axe and change her dress. But that's not impossible. It's just a few steps past the house. So whack, whack, whack. You rush back to the barn. You change the dress that you had ready to go. You hide the axe in the dress.
Yeah.
And then you walk back into the house, whether it was 11:03 or 11:05, 11:07. How could they possibly know it was 11:03?
Was she sweaty?
Probably, but it's a hot
You
August
would
day in
be-
Massachusetts. So
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
You'd be even more sweaty
yes,
with
that's
all
true.
that activity.
Another item, though, is why say you went up into the loft if the police say you couldn't have because they found no evidence
Yeah.
of disturbed dust? Well,
She just has to have a reason.
she does, but
spend
why say that?
10 or 20 minutes in the.
Yeah, I guess. All the delicious pears.
Yeah.
You have
She
to
ripped up
sneak.
and burned the dress. After that's the most damning evidence against her is the destruction of a dress, as evidenced by her best friend. She showed little, if any, emotion at the time of the murders and after the murders, which is not completely conclusive. People deal with
No,
that different
not at
ways,
all.
but still,
Right.
Yeah.
her claims of what happened around the time her father was discovered. Remember the noises, that the 3 different kinds of noises, the different things she was doing, regardless of even the inquest.
Right,
Her
yeah.
story, again, was just a mess. And if you say I heard groans, oh no, I heard scratches, oh no, I heard someone calling for help.
Right.
Yeah.
Those aren't things that could be the same event
No.
you're describing. It's like you're changing the story because you thought of a better one.
Right.
Like, for instance, that I don't know if that was the exact sequence, but saying I heard someone calling for help, that would mean the bad thing happened to those people when I was in the barn, allegedly. But of course, that she's also would later say she didn't hear anything at all,
Yeah.
and thought nothing was amiss when she came into the house.
Yeah.
So, and finally, she was seen going to the cellar alone by the policeman, and very possibly cleaning something at the sink. So who knows? Remember that was the night
Yeah.
of. It was either the 4th, the night of, or it was the 5th. I
There's
can't
a
remember.
sink in the cellar?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
come
why
on, Carrie.
not?
Come on, Carrie.
This is not a modern house.
No, but you have a sink and a drain. Remember, she brought a slop pail in, so she'd have
Yeah.
access to water from the house. So basically, Lizzie, here's how I'd characterize it. She was almost like this indentured servant living in this stifling household when she could have been living high and large. That's a saying that people say. And she's in this loveless house with a stepmother that she hated. And here's the key. If that stepmother outlived her father, she's screwed for the rest of her life. Abby and Abby's family, who they hated, gets all the money. And she and Emma had zero means of support other than her father's
Yeah.
inheritance.
Yeah.
Even
This is
that
kind of an indictment on society.
it is. It is.
What was she supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, she's supposed to kill him.
Well, no, but
She should have just killed Abby.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have killed her dad.
Well, and
she should have found a rich widower and married him.
widower. Okay. That's
Man widow.
2 words. A middow. Sure.
I don't know why we need 2 different words.
We don't. The sequence is incredibly important, though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. She killed Abby first, and then her father.
Well,
The inheritance. If Abby died second, Abby's family
Oh.
gets everything.
Right.
She gets nothing.
Right.
It was absolutely critical. So if they are killed by a crazed maniac, that maniac did her a solid
Yeah.
by killing them in that sequence. So let's talk about who the suspects are. The first one is this crazed walk-by murderer. So what do you guys think? Crazed walk-by murderer?
Probably not.
Someone just say,
No.
you know what? I think I'll go in there. I think I'll murder a woman.
yeah.
I think
I'll
I'll
go
wait around
find a hatchet.
30 to 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll find a hatchet in the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring it up. Everybody's got one. And I will murder someone. I'll wait around in the house,
Hide. Yeah.
hiding in this small, stifling house because I might want to kill someone else. And again, I'm a stranger. I don't know that someone else. And why aren't you killing Lizzie and Bridget during this period?
Yeah.
So the idea of a stranger is
Well,
utterly
a
ludicrous.
stranger is ridiculous.
It
but,
is.
But what about
Like Uncle John Morse, perhaps?
I don't suspect.
Why
Uncle
not?
John.
Some have suspected him.
Yeah,
He's
no,
really
but-
kind of the only other possibility, other than Lizzie, and he was suspected by some people at the time. Few.
Oh, he should be looked at for sure.
Yes.
But
I don't
assume
think he did it.
he had the alibi. Of the
he did
people
have an
he was
alibi,
visiting.
but the police consider his alibi almost too good. Like I guess the alibi he gave to them was super detailed, and they
Yeah.
some police had a little bit of suspicion that it was overly detailed. But
Like here, I saved all of my receipts from everywhere I went.
possibly so. Here's my receipt: buying zip ties and Lysol and bleach and a bucket. So some also did point to Bridget the maid, which is she was in the house. That's natural. They speculate that maybe it was in retaliation for Abby had made her clean the windows on the outside that morning, even though it was really hot, and she didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So she's like pissed off. Like, I'll show her. I will hack her in the head
Yeah.
17 times, and then I'll wait around to hack her husband too, who didn't make me clean the windows,
Yeah.
but might as well since I'm at it. I got the axe in my hand. It's a pretty lame idea. I mean, basically, she's alibied, ironically, by Lizzie, effectively.
Yeah.
No one's ever really suspected Bridget.
No.
Which is odd.
Right.
It's odd that she didn't get suspected pretty quick at the time, really.
Yeah.
But she did not, and she has never been presented as a serious suspect for the most part. And
But what does she have to gain?
she had nothing whatsoever. She
Yeah.
had no motive whatsoever for doing it, and then waiting around. It makes no
Right.
sense. Yeah. Whereas Lizzie had tremendous motive. A writer named Arnold Brown, decades later, would find that a young man in the area named William Borden. So he discovered this guy named William Borden who lived in the area. He speculated from this that this was Andrew's oddly named illegitimate son.
Sure.
And free of any evidence whatsoever, Brown posited that young William had asked his father for money, had been refused, so he hacked
Killed
him
them.
and killed him. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's plausible.
this obviously doesn't explain Abby for any reason. Why would he kill her?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I guess she also said no, don't give me money, and so again he kills Abby and then waits around and kills Andrew. Hiding how he got in and where he hid, we'll never know. But it doesn't really matter because another writer a little later named Leonard Rebello, he researched this William character ad nauseum and found that he had absolutely no possible relation with Andrew Borden. He was not anything to do with it.
Sure.
That's one of those. It was I wrote a book on it too. People write books on the thinnest bullshit.
Yeah.
Some have even tried to drag Emma into it. Remember Emma, who was 15 miles away in New Bedford? A guy named Frank Spearing wrote a book, again, in 1984, saying that Emma had somehow sneaked out of the house early in the morning, I guess. Because, again, going 15 miles then was not easy.
Yeah.
You didn't,
Right.
You didn't drive a car. You didn't hop on a bus. So sneaked in the house, got all the way back to Fall River, hid, murdered Abby, hid some more, murdered Andrew, got out of there unseen, and then got back to Fall River in time to get the telegram telling her parents were killed.
Yeah.
He literally wrote a book on that
That's absolutely
hypothesis.
insane.
Yeah.
He
I
should
don't
not
think
be
it was
allowed to publish books. He is a dumb man.
Yeah.
So that's one theory out there. In the interest of thoroughness, I thought I'd present it to you, even though it is lame. Ultimately, though, it's Lizzie as the main person.
Well, wait.
Go ahead.
What about a business enemy
Okay.
or a disgruntled worker?
That no
from
one
one
ever.
of his many businesses. Textile mills were shit houses to work in.
That's true. That's true.
And he probably cheated them and paid them low wages, and they had bad working conditions.
Wow. You really sound pro-murder at this point right now.
She does. She really does.
I'm trying to be thorough.
Okay.
But why would they kill his wife?
Yeah.
30 minutes before killing him.
Or at least that long. Remember, she was killed between 9 and 10:30. He was killed at 11, so it could have been 2 hours almost. So explain that one, smart lady.
And maybe they arrived to kill.
They did it in
dad
shifts.
and-
2 people did it.
Let me finish my sentence.
Sorry about that.
They arrived to kill him. They came to have words.
Oh, gotcha.
She was there.
Yep.
And
Killed her just to keep her from being angry. Oh, now she's a witness. She
Yeah.
answered the door. She's a witness. She's got to go. They were able to get it out of her before they killed her that her husband would be home pretty soon so they could wait around. Okay. All right. No, I like it. It's a viable theory. It's at least as good as Frank Spearing's or the
but
other
I mean,
guy.
did they talk to
They never.
business associates, etc.?
I've never seen anything whatsoever about any theory that's brought forth that any business rival or worker had any
That business
possible.
associate got away with the
Yeah.
murder of
Yeah.
the century.
He sure did. One writer named Victoria Lincoln proposed that Lizzie had done the deed, but she had done it in a fugue state. And so she
my
really couldn't
God.
remember
Yeah.
in the testimony that she had done it.
One of those very short fugue states.
Very short fugue state. She was fine immediately before and
Yeah.
after. The murders were hours apart, so she had 2 fugue states,
Mm-hmm.
2 short-lived murderous fugue states. And almost certainly she had tried to poison them a few days before and had plotted to poison them the night before. So she had like at least 4, if we're counting, 4 fugue states at this point that she legitimately couldn't remember. And then another fugue state when she burned the dress, the August 7th, 4 days. So that's 5 fugue states at minimum. So, Victoria, you're as dumb as Frank. So that's dumb. Why a writer, Ed McBain, have you ever heard of him? He's a well-known crime novelist.
I didn't really catch the name.
Ed McBain.
Oh, no.
She's like, I don't know what you're saying.
No.
He spun a yarn that the murders started with Lizzie being found by her mother, Abby, in a, let's call it, romantic embrace with Bridget Sullivan, the maid.
Oh my God.
And so they were lesbians. And that, to, I don't know, prevent the scandal, Lizzie killed her mother.
Yeah.
And then obviously her father had to go, so I was killing him an hour later. Makes sense, Ed. I don't know how serious he was about that. So to his credit, I don't think he was very serious about it. He was just writing something speculative and nonsensical. So that's not true. Lizzie banked her money. She got all the inheritance because of that sequence that was so critical. And she moved, indeed, to the Hill, the ritzy
she
part.
and Emma both got it, right?
They both got it, yes.
Yeah.
They shared the inheritance. She moved to a big house on the hill that she called Maplecroft. And she changed her name to Lizbeth Borden. Not super clever.
Okay.
She started calling herself Lizbeth Borden. Well, that was not
funny.
her name. So it fooled no one, I'm assuming.
Like
but
the girl I went to school with whose name was Caitlin.
yeah.
Her name was Caitlin.
And she called herself Katie
And-
Lynn.
Yes.
Yes.
She just started. My name's Katie Lynn now, and everyone was like, "Your name's not Katie
Your name's Kaylin. And whether it's with a K or a C is still lame. And
Yeah.
please never. She.
Hi, Katie Lynn, if you listen.
Hi,
to
Hi,
our
Katie
podcast.
Lynn.
Hi, Katie Lynn. Love your name.
Nice girl. Just was really weird, that name thing.
You sound super worried right now that she's listening.
I'm not that worried that she listens to this.
So, Maplecroft, her big, beautiful house on the hill, was staffed by 5 maids, a housekeeper, and a coachman, all of whom lived there. So she went big. She, again, got the inheritance because Abby died first. So Abby's family, however, did sue, and they did get like an out-of-court settlement. No one knows how much, but they got a little chunk of it.
Yeah.
That essentially that our mom should have got some, so give us some, and Emma and Lizzie paid her off a little bit. Lizzie then started giving parties for like artsy types, actresses and things like that. And this kind of rankled Emma, who lived with her at Maplecroft. Her mom said, "Take care of her the rest of your life," so Emma was
Right.
going to do that. But in 1905, finally, they had a big argument when Lizzie gave a huge party for an actress named Nance O'Neill. And Emma left. She left Maplecroft in 1905, and she never came back or spoke to Lizzie again for the rest of her life.
Wow. Well, they were a bit older by this point.
Very much older, but some have speculated that there was some made-for-TV movie or something like that. that speculated that, Emma found something that showed her conclusively that Lizzie really had killed their parents.
Yeah.
But there's no reason. She just got sick of living. Lizzie, a lot of people speculate that Lizzie was a lesbian. And that she had possibly had affairs with these actresses. And that she was entertaining. They'd stay over the night and things like that. And Emma just was, a classic, super religious Sunday school teaching spinster who didn't like that lifestyle and finally left. That's more than likely what happened.
Yeah.
Lizzie died in 1927 after having surgery to remove her gallbladder.
Oh.
Emma died 9 days later.
Wow.
Wow.
Chronic nephritis.
What's
Which I
that?
think is inflammation of the kidney, right?
I don't fucking know.
I think so.
Possibly.
I look up.
I think it is kidney related.
Yeah. Neither sister ever married, and they were buried right next to each other in the family plot at Oak Grove Cemetery in Fall River.
So who got the money after they died?
I don't know. Well, I do know, actually. It's funny you say that. Lizzie lived well.
Inflammation of the kidneys.
Is it? But she also had kind of a head for business. So she got, he was worth about $8 million. They gave a lot to the lawyers. They gave some to the family of Abby.
Right.
And then they split the rest. But Lizzie was worth about $5 million in today's money when she died. So she parlayed it. I mean, she continued to buy properties and things like that. So she did well with the money. And so she had this $5 million estate at the time of death. She left $30,000 in money at the time. That is $600,000 in today's money to the Fall River Animal Rescue League.
Oh,
Good
how
for
sweet.
you, Lizzie. Maybe you murdered somebody, but you loved animals.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And you were gay.
Yeah. So did she do it?
Yes.
Then you ask, why was she acquitted? And a lot of modern theorists have said what Carrie said a minute ago, is that they just couldn't conceive that this
A woman,
upper crust woman would axe murder. If she had gotten away with the poison, she might have been in jail for the rest of her life, ironically. But because she was forced, because she wouldn't be sold prussic acid later, and she was forced, quote unquote, to kill them with an axe, that's very likely a main reason that she got away with it. That, and she also had a judge that appeared to be in the bag for her, and that gave some pretty dreadful rulings. So, if you want to do shot in the darks, I
don't think there is one.
I have no question whatsoever. She clearly was guilty.
Yeah,
and she clearly murdered them.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long list of guilty people that get away with it because they don't make one of those stupid mistakes.
Right.
She was smart enough to wash the hatchet. She was smart enough to destroy the dress. She was smart enough to not be seen by anyone. She waited until Bridget was upstairs. She
knew without any physical evidence.
Yeah. At the time, how
Yeah.
bad forensics were,
Right.
you didn't have to be that great, but a lot of times, even then, murders were slipped up by just doing something dumb. If she had left the axe without the handle and they found blood on it, that could have been gone against her or something like that. So, or if she had just been spotted, if those men who supposedly saw her exiting the barn, what if they'd seen her walking to the barn and seen her dress covered with blood and a hatchet in her hand? She'd been found guilty, but she was smart enough to look outside, make sure the coast was clear, and dart for the barn. So, there's no question she was guilty, but it's not the first time or the last time.
Nope.
That'll happen.
No. There was I think it might have been a made-for-TV movie, I'm not sure, about Lizzie Borden where Christina Ricci played her.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
It is. And I remember when we saw a trailer for it or a commercial or something, you guys were like, that's ridiculous. Christina Ricci's a tiny little slim woman. Why is she playing Lizzie Borden?
She was a very stout, just broad-shouldered woman. Lizzie Borden in real life, yeah.
So Christina Ricci
was not the physical type whatsoever. I'm trying to think of an actress that would be the physical type.
I couldn't name one off the top of my head.
I can't think of one either. But someone who's
and I don't want to because I don't want to offend.
Well, just powerfully built, relatively
the
powerfully
actress
built.
who played Miss Trunchbull.
There you go. Whoever that was.
Sure. Yeah.
Trunchbull. Oh, that's from
Matilda.
Okay. If you're listening, we'd like to cast you as Lizzie Borden. But yeah, there was. I think that is the thing I'm thinking of, where they had the dramatic scene where she finds something. Oh my God, my sister really did do it, and that's why they moved out. It was just not true. You do wonder though. It's never clear if Emma did or did not think her sister did it. By the way, in terms of public opinion, so public opinion was mostly on her side. After she's acquitted, though, it turned very quickly against her, and she was more or less ostracized in Fall River society.
Really?
So that's why she didn't hobnob with the Fall River elite. She brought in people from, actors from Boston and stuff like that. That she hung
she
out.
didn't move. Why didn't she leave?
I don't know. It's a good question.
To fulfill her dream.
Yeah, or maybe
of
just
the
that
house on
all
the
of her
hill.
businesses were that. Again, she was basically a landlord. She owned through her father. She owned these textile mills and
that's
office
true,
buildings, things like
yeah.
that. She had business.
So they continued to run everything, huh?
Yeah. Again, she
Interesting.
built that business beyond what
Wow.
what she was left. And Emma did whatever. Emma was, again, the acquiescent partner.
Yeah.
Lizzie was the mover and shaker.
So, her father probably could have prevented his own death if he had just treated Emma and Lizzie like he would have treated sons.
This is roughly the fourth blame the victim I've
Like
heard from you today.
bring them into the family business, and
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
I don't know, give them some sort of semblance of independence and
Yeah. That's
allow
true.
them to...
That's more of a societal thing, though. Again,
Right.
if you didn't marry, you really didn't. There was nothing else for you.
Right.
Maybe you could, like you said, be a school teacher that made an income, but you're poor. She didn't want to live poor. She wanted to live rich.
Yeah.
She'd grown
don't
up
blame you,
with
baby.
her father being very wealthy, even
Yeah.
if they didn't live quite like that. She knew he was very, very wealthy.
Yeah.
So it's also like I said, that kind of low rent family squabbling stuff. All families have that shit. Your family does. It sure does, Carrie.
What?
Where
What are you
people are
talking about?
bitching. I hope they're not listening. But everybody bitches about everybody. Every family has this. Where you're
sure.
bitching about
Oh, yeah,
different
absolutely.
things and different branches of the family, and those
Not
people
without
are.
good cause.
Yeah, in your case, very good cause. Like, that this cousin is an asshole and things like that. They had all that going on, but it led to murder, and it was all exposed at the trial and before and after the trial. And it's just funny that almost any sort of domestic murder, if you want to scratch the surface like that, you're going to find that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's interesting. I find it. The
There's
little
no such
petty
thing.
tensions and things like that.
Yeah. Are you pointing fingers at my family, thinking your family doesn't?
It's not around money because my family doesn't have any. So it's,
Well, mine's not around money either.
Some of it is.
There is
Sometimes.
money involved, but
yeah. So there you go.
oh yeah, there's yeah.
Yeah, it's about
Carrie comes from money. Just
I
kidding.
wish you did.
Me too.
That's not
Are you?
my branch of the family.
I
tree.
feel like Emma's thinking about killing us now at this point.
No, you guys don't have any money.
That's true.
For me to
That's
kill you
true.
for.
Thanks. Don't tell her about all that money we have.
All that money, yeah.
She'll kill us. Okay, well that's it. Any thoughts? Any comments?
Lizzie did it,
Yep.
but
It's one of those. It's one of those. No one else. It really is. If she
no
didn't do
one
it,
else
no one
could have
could've.
possibly
Yeah.
done it.
That sounds weird. It doesn't sound logical, but it really kind of is.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and my thing when we're talking about things that happened so long ago,
Yeah.
we have no way of knowing all the details.
Right.
We know what was reported, what somebody elected to write down.
Yeah.
And from what slant did they write that down? So that's why I'm fairly skeptical about a lot of stuff.
Like what?
You think Lindsay didn't do it?
You think Lizzie?
I don't know. Yeah, I think there's a fair chance that she didn't do it.
Most of the press, from what I've read, most of the press was pro Lizzie, and sentiment was very pro Lizzie until after the acquittal.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like it's weird, which you've seen. I'm trying to think of a case, but that's been true in other cases. And it's one of those, what's the word? Buyer, almost like buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
We've been supporting Lizzie. Oh, she got away with it, and you kind of realize she almost certainly did it, and now she got away with murder.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch, she got away with murder, and they turned on her.
Yeah. We have OJ, but I think people will go to their graves
Thinking
swearing he was innocent.
This incredibly clearly guilty person.
Or
is
maybe realizing he was guilty, but they don't care because,
there's a
Society
racial
kind of stuff.
aspect to that.
yeah, not unlike my feelings about the whole societal aspect of around Lizzie's.
There absolutely is. But I would argue it's more socioeconomic than it is gender or race. They certainly interact.
Yeah.
And if the hierarchy of getting away with murder is a white rich male, but a rich black man has a pretty good shot of getting away with murder too, OJ. So it's and a rich woman would have a really, like Lizzie Borden,
Right.
also has a really good shot of getting away with it too. So I think it's class and money is the main divider here of who gets justice and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Correct. Agreed.
And Lizzie was able to parlay that into the ex-governor being your defense lawyer who put the judge on the bench. Which, by the way, really?
I know.
Would that be allowed these days? I
Right.
sure hope not.
Yeah. Well, that's dumb prosecutors, right? Couldn't they have?
I don't know.
Who knows at the time what the rules were?
I don't.
Yeah.
Who knows? And if that means governors can't become defense lawyers, too fucking bad. Don't become a defense lawyer, because they appoint a bunch of judges. So
yeah,
we don't need another defense lawyer. So it's fine if you don't become
like
one.
A built-in conflict.
It is.
Any case that he would have.
Yep.
I think.
Lizzie Borden. That was the 2-part episode of Lizzie Borden. So thanks for listening to that. Carrie, please tell them where they can find us.
Weird World Podcast.
On Twitter.
You Google it and you probably find whatever you want. Facebook, Weird World Podcast on Instagram and Patreon, and Weird World Pod at gmail.com.
How often do you check your email?
Every damn day.
By the way, I have had some emails go to my Gmail account about Weird World, and I apologize for not attending to them because I didn't know I got any emails on my Gmail account.
And I didn't know Dean had a Gmail account.
See, so there you go. So I just responded to a few of them just recently that were probably like a month plus old or something like that. Did not know they existed. I'll try to check that more often, but it's better to email Carrie.
Well, no, if you email Weird World.
So how do they? We'll talk about that later.
It.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, and please listen next time. See ya.
Bye.